to All India Council for Technical Education for providing an opportunity to interact with the teachers in the particular field of interest. So this is a very great opportunity for the teachers for the interaction. So the interactions are very, very important in the teaching community. So we want to have more interactions so that we are able to cope up with the recent trends in engineering and technology. The computer science and engineering fields are growing day by day, and the new trends and the new technologies are coming day by day. So in this August gathering, on behalf of AICT sponsored STTP, I warm welcome you one and all for this August gathering. I sincerely appreciate Dr. B. Sridevi for making this program successful. Many industrialists and academicians, they are going to present their views in the particular topic. So this is a very great opportunity for the interaction with the great leaders in the particular field. And also, we are able to have more technical viability and the knowledge through this kind of program. So we once again, we sincerely thanks our chairman and AICT for providing an opportunity. Please be cope up with all the days and you follow all the programs throughout 6 days. Once again, I express my sincere thanks to all. I warm welcome one and all for the August gathering. Thank you very much. Thank you. Also, on behalf of Sri Sai Ram Institute of Technology, I warm welcome all the participants and the guest speakers for this program. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our speaker, Mr. Chandran Venkateshan, sir, to commence his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Okay, sir. It is audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. So thanks to you. Hello.
Yes, sir. Okay. Hello. Yes, now it is, sir.
Okay. So thanks for Sai Ram Institution to provide this opportunity to deliver a talk on introduction to machine learning. Okay. So today we will see about some basic introduction about machine learning, how the real-time problems are solving using the machine learning techniques. Okay. So gradually we can go with some advanced topics like reinforcement learning, like that, and we will have some demo with using machine learning algorithms. Okay, we'll see about the 4 to 5 algorithms. Okay, and also comparing them. Okay, so today we will start today's topic. So introduction to machine learning. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can post your questions on a chat window. Okay, so I will answer it. So before getting into the machine learning, so why do we need to learn this type of machine learning technologies? Okay, so you know most of the online FTPs or short-term training program are mostly focused on this type of technology, like machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, or blockchain, like that. Okay, so you know that recently the governments are also announced the national education policy. Okay, so these are the future technologies where we can able to get more amount of job opportunities. Okay, not only job opportunities, but also there is a potential advancement in these technologies to develop some startups or to own some startups. So that is the advantage of these technologies. So that we need to cope up with this type of recent technologies in order to educate our students. Okay, so that is the main motto of this STTP. Okay, so first, introduction to machine learning. Okay, so this machine learning technology is not evolved in the recent years. Okay, so it is already present in the year of 1957 itself. Okay, so in 1957, in Dartmouth conference, so they have framed or they have coined this technology as artificial intelligence. Okay, so in artificial intelligence, they gather all the sub technologies like machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision, robotics. So it's all comes under the artificial intelligence. Okay. So, but due to recent advancement in the amount of data and amount of computing facilities, so these deep learning or machine learning technologies are evolved in recent years. So, okay. So how to make the learn? Okay. So first, how we can do? Okay. So reading a theoretical concept of machine learning is quite easy. So when compared to do in practical manner. Okay. So that's why in every talk where I have been talking, so I will not just only stop with the technical session. So I will also move with the hands-on session. Okay. So, the most of you have done the course in Coursera. Okay. So you are submitting the assignment. Okay. So once you submitted the assignment, it automatically grade that assignment and you will see the results. Okay. So how it is possible? Okay. So we have some algorithms. Okay. So once we are getting this type of solutions, so we will have the grades. Otherwise, it will not provide the grade. Okay, so most of the Coursera assignments are also we are dealing with the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is the way we have seen some machine learning algorithms in real times. Okay, so what first of all, what is machine learning? Okay, so machine learning is nothing but the field of computer science. Okay, so where we are going to able to make the computers to understand or learn something, so without being explicitly programmed. Okay, that is what it is said by the Arthur Samuel in 1958. Okay, so we have some computer systems. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to make the system to learn. Okay, so but without traditional programming, so we are going to feed some information. From the information, your machine will going to learn something. Okay, that is called machine learning. Okay, next, how we can do that? Okay, so that is the next step. So these are some of the example. Okay, let us take. So most of them in this forum have played this Mario game. Okay, it's a famous video game in the 10 to 15 years before. Okay, I hope most of you played this Mario game. So okay, so how we can automate this Mario game? Okay, so first what we need to do, so we need to have some embedded system. Okay, so first we need to define the set of rules. Okay, so first we need to have the set of rules and we need to visualize how the other players are playing. Okay, that is what the second point. So observe the games and press the keys. So we need to understand that. Okay, so after that we need to maximize the score. Okay, so not only the game is not only with the playing, but also we need to score many. So we need to maximize our score. Okay, so for that what we need to do? Okay, we need to just write down it. Okay, so after that we need to write a program to play a Mario game like any other game. Okay, so without any programming, how we can do? So first we need to write a new rules as per the game. Okay, so how the game progress, what are the steps we need to take, if any obstacle comes, which keys need to press. So like that we need to define the set of rules. Okay, so after fixing the set of rules, so we need to play with any opponent. Okay, why? Because this, so with the help of experience only your machine will be able to learn the things very quicker. So just you need to feed, just you are feeding something and you are checking your machine outcome, it doesn't perform. Okay, so we need to test our machine. Okay, so by testing what we can do, so your machine will experience. Okay, so if this type of obstacle is come, we need to perform like this. Okay, it is like a baby. Okay, if you are having a baby in your house, so if you say your baby, oh, don't touch, that is very hard. Okay, your baby doesn't listen. Okay, so he or she will touch that and it will feel, oh, if I touch, it is quite hard. Okay, so next time he doesn't touch. So like that only. So once we need to provide some real-time scenario to your machines to understand your learning rule in a better way. Okay, that is what we are going to do. Okay. So first, before doing this, so what we need to do? So we need to uh, capture the data. Okay, how we can capture the data? Okay, because the capturing the data and processing the data is 80% of your machine learning task. So balance 20% your algorithm development. Okay, so majorly this 80% of jobs require more mathematical when compared to your developing the machine learning algorithm. Okay, why? Because is so those who are thinking that machine learning is very easy. Just we need to write some code in Python and we can simulate it and we can provide to the customer. Okay, it's not nothing like that, because so you are generating or you are developing the algorithm which is suitable for your own data. Okay, it is not checked with any real-time data. Okay, so for that we need to have better generalized model or generalized algorithm in order to deal with real-time applications. Okay, so first step is we need to gather the data. So where we can gather the data? So as the academicians, we are not dealing with a big amount of machine learning problems. Okay, so we are mostly focused to teach the machine learning the better way to the our students. Okay, so for that what we can do? So we can make use of any open source data sets from Kaggle, or if you take machine learning, the most famous data set is UCI machine learning repository. So from that you can download your data sets and you can start developing your projects. Okay, so it is nothing but just we are copying the code or copying some other source code and we are generating the output. So it's nothing like that. Okay, like nothing like that. Okay, so we need to understand so what the way the algorithm is best suited for this type of data set. So for that only my request is don't go with a big model. Okay, just you take a simple problem. Okay, because this linear the regression problems or classification what I am going to talk, so it can be done with the Excel itself. Okay, so Excel, Microsoft Excel is the best tool for visualizing the algorithms, and we can easily understand how the machine learning is work. Okay, so first technique, okay, this is self-driving car. So most of them has wonder how the cars are going to be self-driven. So without any drivers or without any command, how they are going to react in the real-time scenario or real. So you know in India the roads are in it's not up to the mark. Okay, so that's why still now the India has not yet approved the self-driving car, but in US the Google is running the self-driving cars. Okay, so how you can able to design this car? Okay, it is not done by the very simply with the CSE or EC or mechanical or civil. Okay, so we all sit together and we need to understand our problem statement first, and then we can able then only we can able to design this type of autonomous vehicles. I am not only talking about the car. So in future you can see the self-driving flying cars. Okay, so like that we are going to see a large amount of self or automated systems. Okay, we can say about automated systems. Okay, so why? Because I'm saying is, so recently the Amazon what they are going to do is they are going to use this automated robot to deliver the products. Okay, so instead of sending the humans to the particular delivery area, okay, what they are going to do is they are going to have some flying robots, or like you can take the what I can say drones. Okay, so with the help of the drones they can deliver that product so very quick time when it is processed with some other humans. Okay, so likewise they are developing their own R&D system. So in some other places, okay, so they are developing this type of drones to deliver the products. Okay, because why I am speaking is these are the opportunities for who have studied these machine learning technologies. Okay, so next is, so most of them we are in lockdown or lockdown. Okay, so now the number of users in Netflix or Amazon Prime has been increased. Okay, so why? Because so we have televisions, we have cable connections, and we have internet resources, but still we are depending upon the Netflix. So why is this? Okay, so typically most up to in your mobile phone we are having up to 256 GB of memory space. Okay, so in this 256 GB of memory space, so let us assume we have 4 members in our family. Okay, so we all 4 have like different movie genre. Okay, someone have like a 90s movie, or someone will like a 20s movie. So like that. Okay, so by dumping all this movie inside your mobile phone, it is quite impossible. Okay, because it will occupy more amount of memory. Okay, so instead of that, we have some online platform like a Netflix or Amazon, like that. Okay, just you can log into the Netflix and Amazon by paying some subscription amount. Okay, and you can watch your movie in live. Okay, so and also it will recommend your movies. How it is recommending the movie? Okay, so once you newly registered in the Netflix, so you are watching 2 to 3 movies in a pipeline. Okay, after that your machine learning algorithm, which is present inside the Netflix server, so it will understand and analyze your pattern of watching the movie. Once it is analyzed your pattern of watching the movie, so next time it will recommend. Okay, you can depending upon your previous views, so your Netflix will recommend some movies. Okay, so this is the recommendation algorithm. So not only Netflix or Amazon Prime, your Flipkart, your Google, and your Amazon Amazon product service. So okay, so they are using this recommendation algorithm and they are providing some recommendations to you. Okay, so like what I am talking, so this is Amazon product recommendation. Okay, so while you are searching something in an Amazon website, okay, so let us assume I am going to purchase some mobile phone. Okay, so I'm particularly looking for the Vivo smartphone. Okay, so after that I have once I have logged into the Amazon, I am seeing, okay, this price is quite high. Okay, like it is 17,000. Okay, assume. Okay, so I don't have that much of amount to purchase that mobile phone. I came back outside. Okay, so once again you log into any Google website. So not only in Amazon. So like what I have say, Saint Faculty Plus website. So like that we have some websites. Okay, so if you get into that website, so in a time you will get some Google ads. Okay, the product which you are looking for is in offer now. Okay, so that is what the recommendations algorithms works for you. Okay, so next, how you are getting the accurate results? So previously your Google search engine work with the ranking algorithm, but now they are moving towards the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so it will provide you some accurate results in the Google search. Okay, so and speech recognition system. Okay, so why I am mentioning the Google Assistant is, so it is free of cost. So every smartphone which have been produced, manufactured in after 2019 or 2020 or some software update, so you'll have this feature. It is Google Assistant. So whenever you will talk or whenever you will speak, okay Google, so it will your chatbot will chatbot has opened and you can interact with them. Okay, not only is Google Assistant. So Apple have their own firmware that is called Apple Siri. Okay, and Amazon Alexa and Amazon Echo. So these are some of the speech recognition system. So which will done some useful things which have been done by us. Okay, like switch on the light or call this number or fix the appointment. Okay, so if you want to better understand how the Google Assistant works, so I request everyone to go to the YouTube and search Google I/O 2018. Okay, so 2019. So now it is more advanced, that Google Assistant. Okay, it can fix the appointment for you, and it can make a call to your doctor and fix some appointment, and it can schedule your meeting. So like that, we can do some basics things which doesn't require any human intervention. Okay, so like that you can make use of this speech recognition system. Okay, so we have some discussed about some image analysis of some voice data or audio data. Okay, so next step is what we need to do. Okay, so we are having some data. Okay, so we are having some data, and what we are going to do is we are going to make some intelligence in the data. Okay, so the data is the raw data, and we are from the raw data we are going to make some intelligent in the information from that. We are going to extract some information from that. Okay, so once we have extracted some particular pattern of information from that, so we can design a problem. Okay. So first step is gathering the data. Okay, for gathering the data, we need to follow this step. First, we need to collect the data. So I already discussed. So you can collect the data. If you are a beginner in machine learning, you can collect the data from UCI or Kaggle like that. So otherwise, you can make use of the IoT devices to gather the data. Okay, so IoT device is nothing but, so if you take your mobile phone, so you have the GPS tracker, gyroscope, accelerometer, like that. Okay, we have some set of sensors in our mobile phone. Okay, from that mobile phones, you can able to get the data. Okay, so if you are in our smartphone, so it will show after completing the one day. Okay, so today you have crossed 500 steps or 1000 steps while you are walking. So it will sense how many steps you are just moving forward. Okay, or how many steps you are traveling in a day. Okay, so it will help to understand our health in very manner. Okay, if you walks better, so automatically your problems which is called the diabetics or your cholesterol, okay, it can be reduced. Okay, so instead of directly analyzing your cholesterol or BP or diabetes, so you can analyze with the help of these steps. Okay, so after that, collecting the data, the next step is cleaning the data. Okay, so for cleaning the data, we need to understand the data first. Okay, so once we collect the data, we need to understand which data I need to keep and which data I need to remove. Okay, so before getting into this, so you need to first create your hypothesis. That is your objective. Okay, so if I have some data, so from the data, I need to create the objective. Okay, my problem statement is I need to calculate the cholesterol from this above data. Okay, so for calculating the cholesterol, so which data I need to depend. Okay, so we need to have some hypothetical view of the data. Okay, so after that we can go for cleaning the data. Cleaning the data is processing the data. Okay, so after cleaning the data, we need to process the data to visualize in a better manner. Okay, I will show in the answer session how we can cross these stages. Okay, so I already discussed. So how we can collect the data. So from the mobile phone, because so in 2025, every person in this world will have surrounded by 3 or 4 digital devices. Okay, it is not said by me. It is a survey taken by the World Health Forum. Okay, so what they are doing, just from the people, they have taken the survey that, so in 2025, every people, okay, every people in this world will have or will surrounded by 4 or 3 digital devices. That digital devices may be your smartphone or a smart printer or a smart television. Okay, so whenever we have this smart, okay, so this is when we use the word smart, that is called digital. Okay, because so no is analog in nature. So everything what we are saying is a digital in nature. Smartphone, your smart watches, your smart televisions, your smart meter. Okay, smart meter is nothing but your EB meter. Okay, now it is in smart. Okay, it will automatically calculate the EB reading and it will pay for you. Okay, once we have the upper. So like you take the FASTag. Okay, we are traveling in any highways, so you can cross the any toll gate from the reader. It can calculate the, it can deduct the amount from your bank. Okay, so these are the digital devices. Okay, so you are most of them thinking only the smartphone is only a digital devices. It is nothing like that. Okay. So every devices which is intelligence in nature, it is called your smart devices. Okay, so like from these smart devices, you can collect your data. Okay, so in 2020 in the survey, they have mentioned that, so in a day approximately in this world, we are generating the 2.5 quintillions of data. Okay, approximately, I am not sure, but approximately it is about 2.5 quintillions of data. Okay, so it may be higher. I said it doesn't getting lower, but it may be higher. Okay, so why is this? So all these devices which are connected to the internet. So once we have connected the internet, whatever the information we are feeding, it will directly go to the server. Okay. So if you take a simple example, we have mobile phone. Okay. So we are chatting in the WhatsApp. So we are chatting in the Facebook, and we are having the taking the selfies, photos, and we are uploading to the server. Okay. So each and every information what we are personally chatting or personally sharing some information with everyone, it is not a encrypted format. Okay. So somewhere in the server, your information is present. Okay. So already you have know that code scenario what this Sundar Pichai has been said to the magistrate. Okay. So whenever you are accepting any Google services, okay, I am not only not biased towards Google, but I am providing some examples. Okay, whenever you are allowing any Google services, okay, so automatically your information has been saved to the server. Okay, so like what I have said is the best example is your navigation. Okay, so whenever you are having the GPS turn on, okay, your Google will trace wherever you are go around. Okay, so after that you will getting the report. Okay, today these are the places you have visited. Okay, so this is one of the example of collecting the data. So next is process the data. So for processing the data, so we need to have some good parallel processing or parallel computing facilities. Okay, so because by getting the raw data by processing with a simple system, it is not a easy manner, easy task. Okay, so we need to have some good parallel computing facilities or some distributed facilities to done your work. Okay, so that's why where that term graphical processing unit has been evolved. Okay, so because this graphical processing unit is a parallel computing device in nature. Okay, so we have some parallel architecture, so which can do the same task in parallel ways, parallel manner. So that is the advantage of graphical processing units. Okay, so that's why whenever you came across the deep learning technology, so these graphical processing units will play a vital role in deciding your algorithm or decide your applications. Okay, so that is a power of parallel computing. Okay, what I have done is, okay, so we have some memory. From the memory we have some multiple processor. Okay, so from the multiple processor we are feeding the data and we are process the data and we are getting some output. Okay, so what are some of the tools we can make use? Okay, so one is how to handle the data. For handling the data we have Hadoop, Apache, Spark, like that. Okay, for building this parallel computing, so we are having a deep learning framework such as TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, Caffe, okay, like that. Okay, and the distributed system is Hadoop, Apache, like that. Okay, so next, so if you have any doubts, you can ask some questions. Is there any questions, ma'am? So no questions? It is audible, ma'am? Hello? I hope it is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, so first we can see about some traditional application. Okay, so one of the best application to understand the machine learning algorithm is your spam filter. Okay, so you can see everyone in this forum having used this Gmail feature. Okay, So in Gmail, you can have the separate folder that is called spam folder. Okay, how this spam folder is working? Okay, so we are receiving some messages from the outsiders. Okay, so your machine learning algorithm, which is present inside your Gmail shoot, so we'll understand, okay, whether to consider this this email as the this email will forward to the inbox, or it can be forwarded to the spam folder. Okay, how it is understanding? Okay, so in spam filter we are having some set of words. Okay, if that word is present inside your Gmail, so what it can do is, it can simply consider this is a spam email, and it is forwarded that this email to your spam folder. Okay, so this spam filter will you make use of the naive Bayes algorithm. Okay, so this naive Bayes algorithm will be taught by in future sessions. Okay. Okay, this is a typical block diagram. So we need to study the problem. So after studying the problem, we need to write the rules. Okay, after writing the rules, so we need to evaluate. Once we are not done with done up to the mark, we need to analyze the error, and we need to study. We need to just modify your problem. Okay, and at last only we are going to launch. Okay, so here what the this problem is not a trivial. Okay, because designing the spam filter is not quite difficult. Okay, so if you know what is the pattern of spam filter, then we can able to design a spam folder. Okay, so like okay, so if spammers notice that all emails containing for you are blocked, they might start writing for you instead. Okay, so instead of writing the short form, it is written in the long form. Example. So just a minute. Okay, thank you. Okay, so next, if spammers notice this, they can write instead of for you for you. Okay, so likewise we need to have some set of rules or set of spam words to classify whether the email is spam or am. Okay, so this is a spamming approach. So we are having the data. Okay, so once we have the data, we need to train the ML algorithm. Okay, so in previous slides we don't have that data, but now we have the data. Okay, so instead of having so let us see here. So instead of writing the rules, so we can make use of this ML algorithm to understand the problem. Okay, so it is like that. So more, you know, the traditional programming is, so we need to write an algorithm and we need to define the output, and your algorithm will provide the output for you. Okay, so it is nothing but, so we need to have input and algorithm. So after that, it will provide the output. Okay, but in traditional ML algorithm, what it is, so we need to provide input as well as our output. Your ML algorithm will develop your own algorithm for you. So instead of writing the algorithm, it automatically develop your algorithm for you. Okay. So next is nothing but how we can learn. Okay, so we need to have which word phrases are good predictors of spam. Okay, so and also it need to find the frequent pattern of words. Okay, like lottery. or free. If any 4 to 5 free, the term word present in your email, it will consider that is your spam email. Okay, so that is how we can able to develop a better spam filter. Okay, so this is what is already discussed. Okay, so this is the overall picture. Okay, we need to train the ML algorithm and we need to provide the solution. So after we need to inspect the solution. So once you inspect the solution, so you can able to analyze the error. Once we analyze the error, so you can understand the problem better and you can iterate if needed. Okay, it is like back propagating. Okay, so instead of sending the input to output, once we analyze the error, we need to propagate the output to your input in order to adjust the problem statement. Okay, so this is what is machine learning. Okay, so next we will what is in AI. Okay, so this artificial intelligence is nothing but it is the way we are going to make the machines to mimic the humans. Okay, so the intelligence exhibited by the machine. So how the way we are thinking and how the way we are reacting with some third parties. Okay, so like that we are going to make the intelligence systems which can mimic like a human brain. Okay, so it is a theory and development of computer systems. And next is to perform the task requiring the human intelligence, such as visual perception. So this visual perception going to build the billion-dollar startups in future. Okay, so next is your speech recognition. Okay, this technology is also a good technology which is going to provide better revenue in future. Okay, decision making and translation between different languages. Okay, so these are some of the subfields of artificial intelligence, but this all depends upon your data. Okay, so I already discussed this artificial intelligence is coined in the year of 1956 in the Dartmouth conference. Okay, it is coined by John McCarthy. Okay, so they only coined this term is this technology is artificial intelligence. Okay, so what are the objectives? Okay, how is this AI will work? Okay, one is your visual perception. So another one is reasoning. Reasoning is nothing but understanding some audio data, and we are going to analyze some results. And navigation, your Google, your GPS, and natural language processing. So like that. So these are the subfields of AI. Okay, so next, what is the represent knowledge? Understanding and classifying the terms or things in the world. So what is computer? Okay, so we need to understand first what is computer, then only we can able to classify, okay, this one is a computer. Okay, so like that. So some of the reasoning questions, playing the puzzle game, chess, Go, Mario, like that. Otherwise, you providing some prove some geometrical theorem. Okay, that is A equal to B. Sorry, A square plus B square is equal to C square. So we need to geometrically prove this theorem. So after this one is diagnose diseases. Okay, so you know this in this COVID situation. So most of the researchers around the world are making use of this machine learning technology. Okay, and they are analyzing different approaches, not only just diagnosing the diseases, and also they are predicting the trend of the disease. Okay, so in future days, how these COVID cases are going to react in nature. Okay, whether they are going to increase or whether they are going to decrease. Okay, how they are going to decide. Okay, so they are deciding with the help of the previous data what they have been analyzed. Okay, so like this is called reasoning, and this is navigation. Okay, so how to navigate? So which is the shortest path to reach the destination? So while these autonomous vehicles are going in the road, okay, so suddenly the human has crossed the road. Okay, so what these autonomous systems are going to do? So whether we need to press the brake or we need to just move the direction of the vehicle, like that. Okay, So this is called AI navigation. So next is AI natural language processing. Okay, so what is the language they are speaking? Whether they are speaking in English or whether they are speaking in Tamil, and whether they are speaking in Hindi. Okay, so the system need to understand what language they are using. Okay, and once you just understand the language, then only the system can able to make a sense out of that. Okay, that is what AI natural language processing. Sales perception. Okay, so how the world is seeing how the humans are seeing the world, how we are perceiving some information. Okay, so then only we can develop a system. So this is a generalized intelligence. Okay, so this system will have emotional intelligence, creativity, reasoning, intuition. Okay, so we need to add creativity. Okay, so what is the intuition behind that? So this is what the generalized intelligence. Okay, so how we can achieve? Okay, this I already said the AI is a big circle. Okay, so in the sum of the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Okay, and we also having some domain specific computing, robotics, and rule based expert system. Okay, so this all comes under the artificial intelligence. Okay, so hello ma'am, still how much time is left, ma'am? Hello.
Sir, up to 11:20.
Up to 11:20. Okay, sir. So I quickly go through this. Okay. So first we will see about types of machine learning. Okay. So the types of machine learning is, first one is supervised learning, second is unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Okay. So I will provide the overall picture. Then we can go for a demo session. Okay. So this is what a typical chain diagram of the machine learning. Okay. So with human supervision. Okay. With the human supervision, we are having three types of learning techniques. One is your supervised, next one is your unsupervised, and third is the reinforcement learning. Okay. So next is the machine learning, which is learn incrementally by using online data, online learning, or batch processing. Okay. For generalizing the machine learning model, we are having the instance based learning and model based learning. Okay. So I hope this topics will covered by the speakers, those who are going to handle in the future session. Okay. So these are some of the algorithms in machine learning. Okay. So let us second, I will share the Jupyter platform. Okay, so just a minute. I will stop sharing the screen. I will open the Kaggle platform. So could you able to see my screen? It is a Kaggle platform. Okay. Okay. So this is the Kaggle platform. Okay. The advantage of using this Kaggle platform is, So those who are doesn't have a laptop system with a i3 processor, i5 processor, okay, and those who didn't have a support of GPUs and some high-end processing units, okay. So for those, the Kaggle platform are providing the 30 hours of free GPU for every week, okay. So let's assume, so once you have started with this Monday, so after next Monday, up to next Monday, you are having 30 hours of free GPU, which can be free for you, okay. So you can see the setting here. So what type of accelerator we are going to use? So whether we are going to use the GPU or TPU. Okay, the TPU is a tensor processing units, so which will have a high processing, which is very fast in nature when compared to GPU. Okay, I'm just going to turn on this. Okay, so the task is we need to going to classify the odd diseases. Okay, so for that, the most of the mostly used libraries are, one is machine NumPy. So NumPy is for numerical computations, and next one is a Pandas for data formatting, and Matplotlib for visualizing the outputs, and scikit-learn for scientific computing. Okay, so these are the libraries which are going to be used in this algorithm. Okay, so I will share this code to you after this session, so you can just go through this, because I am providing all the comments to this program. Okay, so after importing the libraries, so next step is we need to load the data. For loading the data equal to pd.read_csv. So the file format I am using is CSV format. That's why I'm mentioning CSV. Okay. Okay. So from this data, what we are going to do? So we are going to classify whether we are having the odd disease or not. Okay. So I'm going to calculate the number of percentage in our data sets containing the odd disease and the no odd disease. Okay, so you can see this 54% of your data is for odd disease and 45% of data is for your no disease in this patient. Okay, that is I'm going to plot this SNS is called Seaborn. Okay, it's a Seaborn library. From the Seaborn library I'm going to use count plot. Okay, so you can see this totally I am having around 130 of no disease and 160 of with disease classes. Okay, so it is not equally distributed. Okay, because your class 1 have a large amount of count when compared to class 0. Okay, we need to create this imbalance data. So in future code I will see this. Okay, so this data.add will show the first 5 rows of your data set. Okay, if you doesn't mention any value here, it will print first 5 value. Okay, if you need to print first 10 values, you need to specify data.add 10. Okay, so you can see here it is printing first 10 columns in the rows in your data set. Okay, so after that I am going to see what is the information present in the data. Okay, so totally I am having 12 features and 1 target value. Okay, what are the features? Age, sex, and your cholesterol level, and your heartbeat level, your slope, your calories, like that. Okay, so I am plotting each and everything in a different way. Okay, this is the normal distribution graph. Okay, so you can see that the graph is not distributed normally. Okay, because we are having some sudden high and I am just downing. Okay, like that is. Okay, so here see, you can starting from here, it is going down and suddenly it is increasing. Okay, so like that you can see all the each and every relationship between this. So this is the distribution of cholesterol. Okay. So this code is used to visualize the distribution of your data. Okay. So next data.describe. Okay, so this data.describe command will have all the values, okay, and their mean, standard deviation, or what is the 25% of the data, or what is the 50% of the data, what is the 75% of the data. Okay, so why? Because this, so whenever you are experiencing any null data where the data is mentioned as 0, okay, so you can make use of this mean or standard deviation or median technique, and you can replace that 0 with this value. Okay, that's why I have calculated the these values. Okay, so there is a next command. Okay, we are going to check the null values. Okay, but by the God grace, in this already the process data where we don't have any null values. Okay, so totally for class 1 I am having around 165 data points, and for class 0 I am having 138 data points. Okay, our next step is we need to find the duplicate data. For the data, for finding the data duplicate, so data bracket data dot duplicated equal to true. Okay, so you can see this 164 data is present 2 times in the data set. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to drop a duplicate data. Okay, just see, so data has been removed. Okay, so next we need to create the normalized distribution of data set. The normalized distribution of data is nothing but we are going to make equal data set. Okay, so equal data set means if you have considered 300 data sets, 150 for class 1 and 150 for class 0, like that. Okay, so this is the correlation matrix. Okay, so this correlation matrix will provide some useful information how your data are correlated between each other. Okay, so from this, if it is dark red, it is showing, so your data, like you can see, so this BPS. Okay, so here in x-axis we have a BPS, and y-axis it is 100% correlated. Okay, so for diagonal elements this will match, x-axis will match the y-axis. Okay, so if you see this, that is what you can take cholesterol. Okay, so your cholesterol with the age is correlated approximately for 20%, that is 0.2% here. Okay, so likewise you can understand the correlation between the age map. So once we have done with the correlation, we can calculate the, or we can remove the negative correlation. Okay, so now you can see after the processing of the data, you are having the equal amount of data. Okay, around I think 138 data. So now we can plot the graph. So now you can plot and you can see. Okay, so this is next is a box plot. Okay, so this box plot is used to find the outliers. Okay, you can see for age it is equally distributed, it is nothing a problem. For sex versus target distribution, you can see, so most of them are having the class 1 problem. Okay, but there is some one outlier here. Okay, so we need to remove this outlier. Once we have done with the box plot, you can able to visualize the outliers. These are the outliers, the dot dots. Okay, so these outliers can be removed by using some pre-processing techniques. Okay, that is called, we are going to do the normal distribution or normal regularization. Okay, so you can see now it is normally distributed, your age. Okay, so these are the normally distributed data sets after calculating. Okay, so next what I am going to do is I am going to do split the data. For splitting the data, sorry. Okay, so I am splitting 80% for training and 20% for testing. Okay, so after the splitting and splitting the data set, next step we need to train the data. Okay, so for time purpose, I am taking the random forest classifier first. Okay, the total number of trees is I am fixed as 100. Totally, we have 100 trees.
Please.
That participants. Okay, so 100 trees and total maximum depth of 5.
चलो अब मुझे पानी चाहिए, मुझे प्यास लग रही है.
Ma'am, can you please mute? Okay. So once you have done with defining the classifier, next step is we need to predict the model. Okay, for predicting the model, y predict equal to model dot predict x test. So accuracy equal to y test comma y predict. Okay, so the total overall accuracy is 0.78%. Okay, so how we can help increase? Okay, you can increase the number of trees to 126 like that. Okay, or number of depth equal to okay. So next from the I don't consider about the grid search CSV. Okay. Okay. So from the first one, even though we are increasing some random values, but still now we are getting some output values around 78%. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to make use of this grid search. So this grid search algorithm. Okay. So it will search for the maximum depth and the maximum estimators we can fix. Okay. So the maximum depth we can fix is 1 and maximum estimator is 500. Okay, so after that we can fix the number of estimators is 100 and maximum depth is 1. Okay, so now you can see, so the overall accuracy what we are getting is 0.82%. Okay, and precision is 0.85. So these are the classification performance metrics. We need to understand that. Okay, so how we can calculate this? Okay, so we can calculate with the help of confusion matrix. Okay, so for 2 class problem, so this is what the confusion matrix is. So this is true positive. So this one is a false positive. So this is false negative. So this one is a true negative. Okay. So from these 4 values, we can calculate your accuracy, precision score, and F1 score. Okay. And we can calculate specificity and sensitivity also. Okay. So that is true positive rate and false positive rate. Okay. So this is for random forest. Okay. So next, what I am going to use, I am going to define the classifier. What are the classifier I am going to use? One is logistic regression. K nearest neighbor and support vector classifier, sorry, single valued decomposition and decision tree classifier. Okay, so these 4 3 classifier I am calling. Okay, so just you can see, so after calling all these classifier, your logistic regression is providing the training score of 83%, K nearest neighbor is 62%, your single value decomposition is providing support vector classifier is providing 62%, and your decision tree is 77%. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to make use of this grid search algorithm to find the best estimator for you. Okay, it will calculate the best performance metrics for you. Okay, so now you can see your logistic regression is 82%, your K nearest neighbor 63%, support vector classifier 82% and decision tree 77%. Okay, so this way you can write your own algorithm or own code and you can simulate and visualize the output. Okay, so I hope I have done with my presentation. So I open for any questions. Any questions? So don't worry, I will share my slide and my coding to you. Okay, I will share to the coordinators, they will share with you. Any other doubts?
Participants, if you have any questions, please ask the sir. You guys type in the chat box. We will pick few questions and ask our presenter.
So due to time consumption, I'm just running through the code. Okay. So I will give all the commands there. Okay. Just you can read the command and you can easily understand the code. Okay. Any other doubts? Any questions from participants? So how to develop algorithm for deduction method? So so whether what we are going to deduct. So once your data is text data, okay, like for deducting the credit card fraud deduction. Okay, so for that data you can make use of any algorithm. So deducting is also nothing but is classifying. So whether this type of information is present in the data or not. Okay, so you can make use of any of this algorithm and you can develop your deduction method. Otherwise, if you are dealing with any image models, okay, you can make use of deep learning techniques. Okay, like neural networks, convolution neural networks. You can make use of CNN to detect or to develop any algorithm for detecting the any data, text or image. You can make use of CNN. Okay, because now the CNN are making use the introduction and network intrusion detection like that also. So you can use of any algorithms and you can develop your detection model. Okay, the only thing is, so you need to have a idea about whether you are going to extract the feature or your algorithm are going to do for you. Okay, if you are happy with the extracted features, you can go with machine learning. Okay, otherwise you don't know about the feature, you can go with the deep learning. Okay. I didn't touch the part on deep learning. Okay, so because more nowadays the deep learning has been outdated. Sorry, machine learning has been outdated. Okay, most of them now they are using the deep learning techniques to provide the better results. Okay, you can try with deep learning.
We have got another question.
Yeah.
Is it possible human and vehicle single detection method?
Yeah.
Is it?
We can develop. It is not an issue. Okay, so we have the YOLO method. So YOLO algorithm, with the help of YOLO algorithm, you can detect multiple objects, not a human or a vehicle. Okay, so you can detect multiple objects in an image. Okay, like traffic lights, whether the pedestrian is crossing a road, whether the vehicle which is going in front of you is, it may be a car or truck. You can detect like that also. Okay, so multiple objects can be detected in a single detection method. It is no problem.
Any other questions from participant side? I hope that's all from the participant side. Thank you so much, sir. For we have a question now. Human misbehavior detection, which method is the best one?
So to Sivakumar, there is a no thumb rule method for to provide a better method for human misbehavior detection. Okay, so we need to try on our own. Okay, so after that, if you are dealing only with the detection model with video data, okay, so once we need to understand which algorithm you are going to use. Okay, after deciding the algorithm, so you can make use of any algorithm to fine tune the model, and you can provide better results. Okay, there is a no thumb rule method to provide which method is best or not. Okay, so we can make use of parameter tuning technique, and you can fine tune any models, and you can make use of make use as the best model. Okay. So other than Kaggle, you can make use of Google Colab. Okay. So the Google Colab has a free source which is run up to 12 hours a day. Okay, you can make use of Google Colab, and Google Colab also providing both the GPU and TPU facilities. So other than this, you can purchase any cloud service provider from Amazon or Microsoft like that, and you can develop your system algorithm. And we need to pay some amount for this. For I think approximately in Amazon, for NVIDIA T4 cards, approximately per hour, they are costing $0.38 per hour. Okay, you can use cloud service provider also. For open source, better you can deal with Kaggle, or you can move with Google Colab. Both are good.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. This is Shiv Kumar only, sir.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Sir, because I'm doing the research on this methods only, sir, detection methods.
Okay.
But I'm comparing Voyolo and SSD method.
Yeah, single shot detection. Yeah.
Single. Yes, sir. But it's a more comparison is there, but it's getting equal result. But I need more faster than that, sir. That's why
Yeah.
I'm asking that which method
No,
is.
you need to develop a faster system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So faster system, you need to concentrate on parallel computing, sir. Okay, because YOLO also for a detection method and SSD also for detection method. Okay, so
Yes,
when compared to YOLO, so both are work with simple principle. YOLO also, the full form of YOLO is you only look once. Okay, it will see a single image at one time only. So the single shot detection also work on the same. Okay, so you need to work behind the algorithm. Okay, not on the algorithm. Okay, we need to concentrate on parallel computing. Okay, so with the help of parallel computing only you can able to reduce this. Okay, because I hope you have taken the YOLO algorithm directly and you are testing your system. Is it right, sir? Or you are writing your YOLO on your own?
I took like a structure only, sir. I'm writing my own algorithm.
Yeah. So you need to write your own algorithm, because why I'm saying this, then only you can able to reduce your training time or detection time. Okay. So it is already trained for some other data set. Okay. So both will provide a good results, but for reducing the speed, so you need to concentrate on HPC, that is high performance computing.
Okay. And one more thing, sir. One more question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, data set, if I want to prove the test result, what is the data set limit, sir? Which will gives the best, like 500 or 1000?
No, sir.
Or which is the best?
So the deep learning techniques is a data hunting system. Okay. So if you increase the number of data, definitely your algorithm efficiency will increase. Okay. There is typically if you have a large amount of data, go with 90% for training purpose.
Okay.
If you have 1 million of data sets, so you can go with 90% for your training, 5% for your validating the model, and 5% for testing. Okay. Because your model will fine tune only for your testing data, training data. So once you are done with the testing only, we can able to provide. So this is a generalized model which will work for all type of data.
90% for training.
Yeah, 90% for training.
Testing for 5%, validation for 5%.
For 5%. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And also
any tool is there, sir?
Only on accuracy of the model. So concentrate on your loss. Okay. So loss is most important parameter when compared to your accuracy.
Okay, sir.
So,
any tool is there, sir?
What, sir?
Any tool is there for data set?
What type of data set you are going in human misbehavior?
Yes, sir.
Sir, this is depends upon video data.
Video data. Okay.
So if it is a video data, so those who have published the paper earlier in this detection model, okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
directly write an email to the corresponding author. So they will share the data set with you.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving such an explanation on predictive modeling. Learned a lot of new things from this session. I hope this session has been very useful to us. So this is Abareshwar winding up this session. We shall meet in the next phase in this session. Thank you all. Thank you for participating.
Participants.